I am Dr. D.D. Sawant from J.A.T Art, Science and Commerce College for Women, Malegaon Dist-Nashik. Today's topic which I had chosen, that is a energy flow in ecosystem. So the contents which I had taken, that those are concept of energy in ecosystem, components of energy flow in ecosystem, third one, that is a ecological energetics, and last one, fourth, that is a laws governing the energy transformation in ecosystem. So while discussing to this as a ecological ecosystem, a concept of energy in ecosystem, as in the first law, if you'll see that the first law of thermodynamics is known as the conservation of energy, which states that in any system of constant mass, energy is neither created nor destroyed, but it can be transferred from one type to another type. For example, electrical energy can be converted into mechanical energy. In terms of ecosystem, energy inflow or energy input into the system will be balanced by energy outflow from the system. In this, the second law states that the second law of thermodynamics states that when work is done, energy is dissipated, and the work is done when one form of energy is transformed into another form. So, in this, the energy is the capacity to do work. Next one, there is a biological activities require consumption of energy, which ultimately comes from sun. After that, except for the deep sea hydrothermal ecosystem, sun is only the source of energy for all ecosystem on earth. Of the total incident solar radiation, less than 60% of it is photosynthetically active radiation, which is called as a PAR. Solar energy of sun is transformed into chemical energy by the process of photosynthesis. Then it is stored in plant tissues and then transformed into mechanical and heat form of energy during metabolic activities. As the sources of energy, if you see that all sources of energy of the biospheric ecosystem are virtually outside the biosphere. The major source of energy of the solar radiation and other minor sources of biospheric energy are cosmic radiations, geothermal energy, and energy subsides released from storage in fossil fuels. The sun is the most important source of energy for the proper functioning of the ecosystem because the solar radiation is converted by green plants into food or chemical energy which is used by plants themselves, animals and man. Solar radiations also helps directly and indirectly in the circulation of matter in the biospheric ecosystem. Thus, this process is called as biogeochemical cycle, comprised of water or hydrological cycle, chemical element cycle, sediment cycle, etc. Has so the plant life process is derived from solar radiations, and hence the all animals are further dependent on plants. About 34% of the sunlight reaching the earth's surface atmosphere is reflected back and by clouds and dust. 10% is held by ozone layer, water vapor and other atmospheric gases. The rest 56% reaches the earth's surface, and out of that only 2 to 10% is used by plants and the remaining is absorbed as heat by water or ground. So the brief characteristics of insolation and the heat budget of the earth and the atmosphere uh, have to be discussed. That the inflow of solar energy in the biosphere has been estimated differently by various scientists. Is that the total energy radiated from the sun means every year, out of this total energy uh, that is transmitted from the sun in the form of electromagnetic radiations, it is near about 100 into 10 raised to 22 joules reach the earth's surface, but 40% of the total solar energy entering into the earth's atmosphere is reflected back into space by desert, snow and ice and oceans. Thus 60 into 10 raised to 22 joules become available to the green plants for photosynthesis. Thus, this part of the solar energy is converted by the green plants into food or chemical energy, of which a large part is spent by the plants through respiration. So, the green plants in the ecosystem terminology are called producers in a terrestrial ecosystem. Major producers are herbaceous and woody plants. Likewise, primary producers in an aquatic ecosystem are various species like phytoplankton, algae, and higher plants. Thus, it is a 0.2% of the total energy present in the light, that is, solar radiation of the right wavelength suitable for photosynthesis by green plants. Man utilizes only less than 1% of the total energy stored in the biomass. Thus, the solar or light energy is transformed into food or chemical energy by the processes of photosynthesis by green plants. The part of this chemical energy is lost to the atmosphere through respiration by the plants, and the remaining part is stored in the plants or biomass. The energy is further transferred from one level of organisms to the other level of organisms, and it is also used and spent at various levels of organisms. Thus, the flow of energy is unidirectional, and once used and spent is never available for reuse. Energy is constantly flowing into the biosphere, undergoing various transformations which may involve being stored but ultimately being lost in the form of heat. It is therefore necessary to discuss the transformation of solar energy into various forms before describing the mechanism of flow pattern of energy in the biospheric ecosystem. So the solar energy or the sunlight is received and trapped by the green plants in the biosphere. Thus the green plants contain pigment chlorophyll, through which they convert solar energy into organic molecules having carbon. In fact, green plants use light energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates and other biochemical molecules. This process of conversion of light energy into food or chemical energy is called photosynthesis. The organisms which produce their own food are called primary producers, They are also known as autotrophs. The primary producers fall in two categories, for example, phototrophs and chemotrophs. Phototrophs are those primary producers which are called as the green plants, which trap solar energy, means the light energy, and produce their own food through the process of photosynthesis. So, the total accumulated amount of energy stored by the autotrophic primary producers per unit area per unit time is called productivity. The productivity of the ecosystem depends on two factors: the availability of the amount of solar radiations in the autotrophic primary producers and the efficiency of the plants to convert solar energy into chemical energy, which is used by green plants to build up their tissues. So, the gross primary production is the total amount of energy production by the autotrophic primary producers at trophic level. In other words, gross primary productions refer to total amount of energy assimilated by autotrophic primary producers, green plants. So, the biomass refers to the quantity of weight of living matter per unit area per unit time, and hence the heterotrophic organisms, mainly fungi and bacteria, which meet their energy and nutrient requirements by degrading dead organic matter or detritus, are called decomposers. They are also known as saprotrophs. Plants capture only 2 to 10% of the PAR, and this small amount of energy sustains the entire living world. So, it is very important to know how solar energy captured by plant flows through different organisms of an ecosystem. This can be shown by the following systematic diagram, which is shown in front of you. Sun, radiant energy. After that, the producers, which is metabolized, and heat energy, which is exerted. Chemical energy, chemical inform. Heat energy consumes, that is metabolism, and after that the decomposers metabolism, heat energy which is created. So, like this way, this is the structure which is in front of you. So, ecological energetics include energy transformation which occur without the ecosystem. In ecological energetics, we consider number one, that is a quantity of energy reaching an ecosystem per unit of area per unit time. Second, that is quantity of energy trapped by green plants and converted into a chemical form, means the photosynthesis. Third one, that is the quantity and path of energy flow from green plants to organisms of different trophic levels over a period of time is known area, and hence this energy flow from producers to consumers. Last, that is laws governing energy transformation in ecosystem. First, energy transformation in ecosystem can be explained by the laws of thermodynamics. Second law, that is a ecosystem follows the first law of thermodynamics, which states the energy may be transformed from one form to another, but it can be neither be created nor be destroyed. This is also true in the case of an ecosystem. When an organism dies, its energy is not destroyed but is dissipated in the surrounding through decomposers. Next, last, third, further ecosystem is not exempt from the second law of thermodynamics, which states that processes involving energy transformation does not occur spontaneously unless there is degradation of energy from a non-random to a random form. The energy in living organisms is in non-random form, that is in the form of chemical bonds of biomolecules, but when their decomposition occurs, the non-random energy is converted to random form by the decomposers to simple form. Thank you. Thank you very much.